The cabin is a place called Up North. At least that's what we called it. This cabin belongs to my dad's family. His father built it in 1946. It's made out of cinder blocks because he couldn't afford logs, and that's the only reason it's still standing today. Because if it was a log cabin, it would have, deteriorated, wouldn't be around anymore. As a kid, I remember going there. It would just be a really long drive. But once we got there, I just remember the nature. So the cabin is just four walls. It's a very rustic cabin. Some people, when they say cabin, they mean like something with like insulation and, electricity and plumbing. But no, this is pretty rustic. There's an outhouse. There's no running water. So, about my grandfather, I never really knew him until he was an old man. He died when he was 92 years old. They grew up in Green Bay, and this place is like just a couple hours away. They'd go there probably as many weekends as they could. I know my grandpa used to like fly fishing in the river. I never saw him catch a fish, but I would see him, in long rubber boots standing in the river, flicking a bright orange line off a fly fishing rod. And for me, it's still very sentimental. The purpose of going there was to just see it again. It felt very fresh, even going there after so many years. Being able to go there as an adult is a completely different experience because I'm in control. And there's a lot to take care of there. There's a lot to, knobs to turn, maintenance to do. If you just sit around, like, the sun goes down and then you don't know, like, where the flashlight is, you gotta start a fire in the dark. A lot of what the cabin is sensory because it's right next to a pretty wide river. And so there's the constant sound of flowing water. And that's one thing that you just can't escape. You could walk into the woods and find your way back to the river based on the sound. It's interesting walking through the woods with a camera because really you don't need to walk that far to find something to take a photo of because there's beauty everywhere around you. The cabin is important to me because even if I knew nothing about it, I think I'd love that place because it's so beautiful. It's relaxing. The air is thicker. Really, it's paradise. It's nature. You're in the woods. It gives you perspective to think about how I'm 24 years old going to this cabin and having these experiences there, and that my dad and his six other siblings, probably when they were growing up and when they reached their early 20s, were going there alone with their friends and having these same experiences. And it all goes back to my grandfather in the 1940s building this cabin with the help of his friends, and it's still here today, and hopefully it lasts forever.